Broadcasting live from Youngville, North Carolina and Ontario, Canada. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly show where Vicky Rowe and AJ Aramutz bring you the mead news, meadery info, and mead making discussions from all over, talking with mead makers, mead owners, industry mavens, and influencers. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly podcast about mead and the people who love it and where the mead world is going. And now here are your hosts, Got Mead owner Vicky Rowe and mead and wine maker AJ Aramutz.
Live from the den of the puppies of the apocalypse and the bunny pen in Ottawa, Canada. Not Ryan this week because he's feeling poorly. It's Got Mead Live. Welcome to the show. This is our last show of 2018. We take December off, so I have time to build up the first quarter's shows before the MeadCon, and to give us time over the holidays with our friends. And I've got a new grandchild coming, and it looks like I'm going to be spending a week or so down helping out with that when the baby comes. So it's going to be a busy December, so it's probably a good thing that we don't have shows going on. However, for those of you out there that are interested or thinking about it, email me at gotmead@gotmead.com and let me know if there are people that you think need to be on the show that haven't been, or if you think there's a subject that needs to be discussed that we haven't delved into enough. So, we really want to, get stuff out there that you guys are interested in. Our guest tonight is Kenneth Jenkinson, and he's actually on the live chat. Hi, Ken. And he's with Savannah Bee Company. I went and actually saw them this past weekend when we went down for Thanksgiving to visit our kids and our grandkids. And this is a pretty cool place. If you haven't been there and you're anywhere near Savannah, or you get anywhere near Savannah, you really need to go check it out. It's the Broughton Street location, which is where I went. Is an old building with super high ceilings and all this really rattled wood, and a bar made out of all these mismatched pieces of original barnwood from a local barn. And
cool.
It was awesome. It was beautiful, and the top was all these pieces of barnwood covered in like a poly. So polyurethane top, so it was real smooth and everything. It was really neat. And then they had a glass holder above the bar made out of more pieces of this really awesome barnwood. I was just drooling all over looking at this. It was so cool.
Oh, you can do such fun stuff with things like that.
If you can get your hands on the old barnwood, that's the thing. These days, it's like if the pickers don't get it, then then somebody else does. You got to move.
Yeah, you just got to come up this way.
Well, yeah, I really do want to get up that way. I need to just hop in the car and drive to Canada, but it ain't happening this winter, girl. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't want anybody to drive up this winter because winter is terrible.
Yeah. Hamish is going, what's going on? It's like, because we're on the show. So thanks to everybody who either signed up or renewed for Got Mead patron memberships last week. Really appreciate it. Every little bit counts towards the $200 a month that we have to put out to, for storage and access to the software and everything. And running the site, yada yada yada, and all that kind of happy crap. But we really appreciate it. If you listen to the show and you're not a patron yet, and you think this has got some value to it, it's $30 a year. Basically, a little over 50 cents a week. It gets you access to the patron boards on the Got Mead forum. We have some award-winning recipes in there. Get you into the patron Facebook group, and you're just you're supporting Got Mead and the stuff that Got Mead does to help mead makers and the mead world. So like I say, if you think what we're doing is a good thing and you got $30 you can spare, we would appreciate it. It does help. So thanks very much for those who have been going on. I've got patrons, some of them going back 10-15 years, which is pretty cool. If you want to listen to us, you can listen to us live on the Got Mead website at gotmead.com. If you prefer to catch us on your drive time, when you're cleaning the house, making your mead, what have you, you can check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Spreaker's where we live. Just search Got Mead Live. We got replays going back all the way to the beginning of the show. And you can also listen to us on gotmead.com. We've always got the most recent show is on the player on the if you just click Got Mead Live Radio Show, and then when we're live, the player will be live, and you can listen to us live there as well. And again, you can look at the list of shows going all the way back to the beginning. So enjoy. And you can find us online at, of course, gotmead.com. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/gotmead. And our main group is facebook.com/groups/gotmead. We also have a group for patrons, and we have a group for the Gottmead International Brewmasters, which is our digital brew club. So if you don't have a brew club near you and you want one, come join us at Gottmead International Brewmasters. We really got to start putting together like meetings or something. I'm not sure how to do that exactly. All right, on Twitter, you can catch us at Gottmead Now. If you can't call us during the show, feel free to tweet us. I'm usually watching the feed during the show. I jump back and forth between 4 or 5 screens, so don't worry if I don't catch up on you right away. If you want to send us a question, suggestion, ideas, topics, question, whatever you want on the Gottmead Radio Show, just go to gottmead.com, put your mouse over Gottmead Live Radio Show. When the drop down happens, then just click the drop down. That'll take you to a form where you can ask questions, and that'll just send us an email, and it sends it to all of us so that one or more of us will see it and get back to you. And if you want to call us, and if Skype is cooperating, which lately, since the last 3 or 4 updates, it hasn't been doing very much of that, you can call us at 803-443-MEAD. That's 803-443-6323. What are we drinking? And AJ, you go first because I have to bring in Hamish, apparently.
I'll make it quick. It's really
Yeah,
boring.
it's
I've
really
got water.
boring.
I've got
Oh.
water today because I gotta go do snow plowing after the show.
Oh, yucky poo.
Yeah, because it keeps snowing and more snow, and yeah, exciting.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Machine instead of the big one we ordered, because the big one we ordered was for December 1st and it's still in the shop, so we've got this little tiny guy, and my husband keeps complaining that it doesn't have the balls to do anything. Needs more bunny!
Yeah, more bunny, but didn't it break like 3 or 4 times too?
Yeah, we finally got the thing cooperating now. They fixed the hydraulic lines, they fixed the windshield wiper, and they made the heater fan fuse stop blowing. So it's at least working now, but it's still so friggin' small. We were filling bins with it this weekend for getting rid of the snow, and it was like on its very tippy toes trying to get snow into the bins.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Hamish, welcome. I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to make it tonight. Hamish? Are you here?
Hello.
There he is.
Yes.
Are you here or just attempting to be here?
No, I'm here. I'm just what do you call it?
You're what?
I was muted.
Oh, yeah.
Are we live?
Yes, we are live because it's, like after 9 o'clock and stuff, so.
But I thought it just, yeah, okay. I just wasn't 100% sure because we were talking about Bunny, which is normally pre-show discussions. All right. Very good.
No, that was taking up time while we were waiting for you to come in. What are you? I was just making shit up.
Me today, I actually don't know. It doesn't have a label, but it tastes sweet and nice floral notes on it.
Oh, I love mystery meads because sometimes you get really awesome stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm working on a bottle of sourwood traditional that I got from Savannah Bee, which is
Oh, cool.
Yeah, who we're having on tonight, and it's really good. It's on the sweet side of semi-sweet, so it's like somewhere between semi-sweet and sweet, closer to sweet, and it's a real pretty dark gold color. I really like the color on it, and it's just as clear as a bell. And I mean, you take a sniff of this stuff, and it's just like this huge nose full of sourwood honey. And when you taste it, it is very distinctively sourwood. Nice long honey finish with tingly, on your tongue as you're finishing it up. And I really like it. They have that, and they have a tupelo as well, which I also have a bottle of. And that was that was one of 6 or 7 bottles that I got. But if you guys want to try out some sourwood traditional, go check it out at savannahbee.com. And if you're anywhere near Savannah, they actually have multiple locations in and around Savannah. So it's well worth checking out. So I'm going to get Ken in here now, and we'll get going with him. I always feel like I want to do the Jeopardy song when we're pulling somebody in because I can't hear the ringing for anybody except you, AJ, when I call. And everybody
Oh,
else,
weird.
it's just silent until suddenly they pop up on the screen. It's like, well, I don't know. Is this working or isn't it working?
Lovely.
Oh, it lost him. So everybody have well, Hamish should do Thanksgiving because he's Australian. Did you do anything over the weekend? I had traveled over to my daughter's.
My mom and my stepdad celebrated American Thanksgiving. They had a couple of friends up, and so we ended up with a whole lot of turkey leftovers. I guess that counts.
That's nice. Yeah, we had all the usual fixins, but my daughter parceled like immediately after dinner, parceled it all into like little meal plates so she could take it for lunches to work. So there was no leftovers, except pie. There's always pie.
Yeah, we don't typically do Thanksgiving, surprisingly
Well, yeah,
enough.
yeah.
But interestingly, we still have Black Friday sales, which really doesn't seem to make sense to me at all.
Yeah, so do we. I call it shameful shopping day.
It is shameful shopping day.
But we don't even know. Most people don't even know why there's a Black Friday. Like it's not even associated. It's just this thing.
Because Americans, that's why.
Yeah.
I think I got Ken's 912-222-1350. Okay. Trying to get Ken's number here, and I just tried to call him, and it didn't work. It's getting to the point where if I ever meet anybody who works for Skype, I'm just going to slap the living crap out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to try to add it one more time. Oh, I know. If I can find software, or if this software starts allowing me to use something other than Skype, I will do it in a happy New York second. Sorry about that mic noise. I had to get my readers off. So we're trying again to call Ken. Ah, that worked! Yay!
Hello.
Hi,
Hey.
Ken. Welcome to Got Mead Live. Apparently I typoed the number the first time, so. You're on with...
No worries.
Yeah, you're on with me and AJ Ermink. She's up in Canada, in Ottawa, and Hamish Lucas. He's down in Australia, near Melbourne.
Hey.
So.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a Bluetooth on, and it was not performing. Everybody was very choppy. I couldn't really understand anything that was going on. Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
It's fine.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, well, it sounds the same on my phone.
Well, that's weird.
Maybe like a Skype thing, since we're seem to be bashing Skype.
It's almost always a Skype thing. Can you
If
hear
in doubt,
us?
blame Skype.
Yeah, can you hear us any better now?
I mean, it's still a little choppy, but I mean, we can make do.
Well, I mean, if it's too hard, I can drop you and bring you back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
that's
we can
good.
hear you fine.
Good. There we go.
All right, can you hear us better?
Yeah. It seems to be a little bit better, yeah.
Okie dokie. All right, well, welcome to Got Me Live. I had a lot of fun last week when I came by. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was great seeing you in the store.
I enjoyed
was,
getting the chance to taste all the meads and the honeys. That was nice.
Yeah, we do have a pretty nice selection of bee-related things. I mean, just a few, all around you.
Oh yeah, you would have loved when I went to Australia in August. Hamish, one of the places that Hamish had on our list of meadery / honey things to visit was a honey place. And Hamish, I'm drawing a blank on the name. The one that had like the 87 different honeys.
Beechworth?
What was that? You cut out for a sec.
Beechworth?
Yeah, Beechworth honey. And they had like literally like I don't know, there must have been 30, 40 honeys there, and you could get these like selection packs of the different. You'd have gone nuts, Ken.
Nice.
Yeah, I think also he'd be a little excited about the other place we went to visit over in Kangaroo Island,
Oh
who
God,
have
yeah.
got the only pure bred Ligurian bees in the world, I believe, due to their isolation.
Yeah. That was cool. Ken?
Nice to be able to taste so many different types of honeys, back to back. It's really where you get that true understanding of it. So
Yeah.
that's fascinating. I'm gonna have to visit.
Oh yeah, you got to. It was great. I mean, just and the honeys are so totally different than what we have here. Um, I mean, it was there was very distinct and clear cut differences in all of the honeys that I had down there.
Awesome. Yeah, it's the same thing that with the stuff that comes from Africa. I mean, South African mead, they do this, specifically tej. I mean, it's really hard to make a true delicious tasting tej using floral honeys from America, because you just really don't get that same taste. Well, of course, a lot of it comes from the herbs that they put in.
Yeah, true.
But it's just awesome. It's just so cool how much diversity there is in mead and how much we can do with it.
Oh, I know. It is. It's really impressive. But you'll have to, if you can get out to the Mead Con or the Mazer Cup, sometimes we get Bee Seasonal out there, and they import Brazilian honey. Oh my gosh, that is really interesting too. They have a pink peppercorn one that is to die for. So good.
Ooh, pink peppercorn.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I desperately want to get a gallon of it, but my honey budget's a little strapped at the moment, so I may have to wait a bit, but it's on the list. I really, really want to make a traditional with that. But so I'm curious because I don't think we actually talked about this much when I was down there sipping on your meads. How did you get involved in all of this, honey and mead and all of that? What brought you to this part of the universe?
So the whole honey, mead, and just everything bee related universe. I honestly, I got into mead probably, gosh, what was it? Probably 7 to 8 years ago. I just wanted to ferment something, and when it comes to beer and wine, it's like there's 90 plus styles all done perfectly in a store, and it's like, just take my money. Like, what's the point of like trying to craft something if there's all these styles already done? So when it came to mead, I found this just random recipe online. I don't even remember where I found it, and decided just, hey, you know what the heck? I'm just gonna throw it all together. I did the very basic early setup where you have your glass gallon carboy. You put a balloon over the top of it. You prick it with a little prick, and then throw raisins in there, for goodness sake, and just let it fly. We're using Fleischmann's bread yeast. And, it tasted terrible for about 5 years, but, on that 5th year, something magical happened. And it was really good.
Patience, man, patience.
It just is very key. It's so very important when it comes to mead. I get a lot of people that come in and they're like, oh, I made a mead and it tastes terrible. I'm like, how long did you wait? And they're like, oh, a couple months. I'm like, no, just literally forget about it. Put it in your closet.
Go make another
Forget
mead.
about it. Come back to it. Go make another mead. You'll make 3 more meads, and then come back to it and taste it. If it still doesn't taste good, just forget about it again. Come back to it another year.
Eventually you'll get the skills to be able to make quick meads that are drinkable easily, and
absolutely, yeah. Once you really start to get to know the chemistry aspect of it and start to understand the yeast, the needs of the yeast, and you really get to make some really interesting things. And ultimately, it all comes down to balancing in the end. So, as long as you are able to, when you have a finished fermented beverage, if you're able to balance that before bottling it, then you really can have something incredible. But back to how I even got into all this. It just seemed like a very noble thing, a very different thing that the whole rest of the world was going and doing. So I just kind of made my first mead, fell in love with it, and then I realized, wow, this is really expensive. And I mean, as we all know, buying honey. So I actually started beekeeping, and it was,
cool.
a wonderful way to get the cost of my very expensive alcoholic hobby. So I've been a beekeeper for about 7 years or so, and I absolutely love it. It's probably one of the most random hobbies I've taken on, but absolutely the most rewarding, for sure.
How many hives do you have?
So I've got 6 hives currently, and ran 2 of about 3 of them have more or less either absconded or have failed. I mean, it's been pretty difficult. We've had an interesting weather patterns this year. But I still got 3 of them that are pretty strong. The one that I have here in Savannah is still just cranking it out. They are doing really, really well. I'm trying to keep them happy. So I think tonight is actually our first freeze of the year, which is very different than everybody up north that is dealing with a blizzard.
Yeah.
So sorry, guys. You should move down south.
Right?
Sure, that's why I live here. My southern blood freezes below 60. Everyone that knows me has heard me say that numerous times.
Yeah, we were
true.
coming up on freezing by about 7 o'clock tonight, so I think it's going to hit the 20s tonight here.
Well, we're above freezing right now, but it's snowing. And last week we were actually minus 19 degrees Celsius, so it was pretty damn cold.
That's pretty cold.
Not normal. Yeah, that's not normal for November.
Not this time of year. No, that's the same. We don't usually get the solid freezes until December, January.
Yeah.
And, and we've had this is for North Carolina, or Central North Carolina, because the mountains are different. But this is the second or third hard freeze that we've had, and it's supposed to hit below freezing at least 3 days this week. So yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, we're going through a cold snap here as well at the moment. It's
is it below?
It's almost unpleasant.
What is it, like 35?
It would be about 70 today. We've got a high of 86 coming on Saturday.
Yeah, that's hot for me.
Yeah.
And it drops down to a whole 58 overnight. Just makes me shiver.
That's a significant drop.
Yeah, and he wanted me to come in in Australia's summertime, and I'm like, hell no. Like, oh hell no, not when they get temperatures where they run out of colors and use purple. To show how hot it is. It's like, all right, we're all the way into purple today. It's like, no. Yeah, not doing that. Nope.
Big bucket of nope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind it. Just no cold.
Yeah, well, you're Southern born and bred. Well, I've got more grits than oatmeal in my blood these days. I don't like the super humidity. The older I get, the harder it is to deal with the humidity.
Yeah, the humidity never leaves you here. I mean,
Not
even
really.
during the winter, it's not just cold. It's cold. It's terrible.
You've got to realize though that purple starts at 115, right?
Oh, I talking about
in Fahrenheit. Yes,
like
I know this, but you guys hit purple several times last year.
Yeah, but that's where it starts. And he was just like, hey, I can do with the heat. I don't mind that. I'm like, are you sure? Purple starts at 115.
Yeah.
And then it goes on.
Not doing purple. Just not. Just not.
No purple.
No purple for me. I like my purple clothes and my purple hair and my purple shoes. I ain't doing purple temperature. Just not. It ceases to be my favorite color when it's on a temperature scale.
It's just a poor choice for somebody's representation of a temperature.
It really is. I mean, you just go straight to I don't know, hellish red or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but hellish red is what purple's after hellish red.
Well,
if you're talking about gaming, so the purple monsters you sneak past those.
Right. Yeah.
How about frostbite black? I mean, that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but
it's the kind of thing when you bring up your WTF forecast, and it says And it says like it's effing hot outside. What's wrong with you? You know.
I hope you have air conditioning.
I hope
Yeah.
you have air conditioning. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, you do know it's hot when the bees tell you it's hot. When the bees stop cruising around and they all go into their hives and just try and fan the queen to keep her cool, then you know it's hot. So
Yeah.
just trying to bring it back on target.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Hot as damn hot.
I
Okay.
kind of like all this conversation of talking about heat because it's making me feel like it's not freezing outside. So it's good.
So, what are your favorite kind of meads to make?
My favorite kind of mead to make or to drink or both.
Well, yeah, both. Take it in turns, man.
So, I mean, my favorite meads to make, personally, I really like making melomels, just because, I mean, fruit and honey, just amazing. I mean, metheglins are, of course, amazing. Also, I'm starting to really work on trying to like make some pretty good metheglins. I wanted to make certain things that like help you sleep, help you do energy, things like that. But when it really comes down to mead that I like to drink personally and that I like to share with people, it's honestly just the melomels. One of the mead that I actually made for my own wedding was a raspberry melomel, and I made it using the Savannah Bee's winter white honey, which is basically it's like a Rocky Mountain wildflower, and I made it to be specifically for the toast of our wedding, and so I made it about 19%, and it was very good, and it was a wonderful toast. We had a great toast, but then of course during the reception we had an absolutely terrible bartender who just did not care about anything, and so he basically just passed out bottles of this stuff, and needless to say, the night descended into darkness. So, yeah, but I'm still married, so it worked out. It was all things considered, what I do and don't remember, it doesn't matter because I still have a wonderful family here. But yeah, I love making melomel simply because I feel like the fruit adds a lot to the nutritional needs of the yeast. So because I personally ferment using fruit in the primary and in the secondary. I do both.
Uh-huh.
It's way more expensive. I feel like you get a way more rounded fruit flavor with that because you have sugars fermented from the fruit, but you also have the infusion of fruit. And I mean, fruit's just delicious. I love fruit. It's sweet. It's wonderful. And so that's typically what I prefer to make. And as far as drinking goes, yeah, I mean, I do like melomels. But I really do appreciate a really well-made traditional mead because they are probably the most difficult mead to pull off because you've got three ingredients: honey, water, and yeast. And if you've got any sort of issue through fermentation or any sort of fault, you're going to notice it. So a really, really good, very cleanly fermented traditional mead, I mean, that's just leaps and bounds for me as far as like how much I enjoy it. But I appreciate all mead. I think all mead has room in my belly. So, I don't judge too terribly much. I absolutely judge. Don't worry. For sure. But yeah, I would say I enjoy drinking traditionals a lot, but as far as making them, I mean, melomels are a lot of fun, and maybe because they're not as hard to make. I don't have I don't have any sort of like fermentation chamber or any way to control temperature or anything here at my house, so melomels are really easy. So, definitely the route I usually take when I make mead. The next mead that I honestly had planned to make was for my daughter's wedding. I have a 5-month-old daughter right now who is absolutely ridiculously amazing, as we all think about our own children. But
oh no, yours is different. Yours is just extra amazing.
Yeah. Oh yes, absolutely. But like basically the mead that I was planning on for her was a tupelo So it would be single varietal tupelo, but with raspberry. So it'd be like, raspberry melomel using tupelo. And I was about to pull the trigger on buying a 5-gallon bucket of tupelo honey. Now, mind you, tupelo honey is not cheap. And I was just about to buy this honey, and I get a phone call from my wife, and she basically says, "Hey, I need your help. I, took your brand new car and was going on an errand, and I nicked a curb and basically popped 2 of your tires on your brand new car."
Oh, dear.
So needless to say, all of the money that I was going to use to buy this honey went into the vehicle, which is totally fine. We've got to have a good vehicle, but it's not like she's going to notice that I didn't make this mead in proper time or anything like that. It's going to be a good mead regardless. But yeah, I mean, it's the next one that I'm slated to do. It's probably going to be by far the most expensive one.
Cool.
And it'll be well worth it.
What's it
well-aged
be?
30.
The next one you do is almost always the most expensive one in my experience. It just seems to
It just keeps doing that.
That's so very true. But yeah, it should be good once I do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you were you involved with the Savannah Brew Club all during that time, or did you find them later?
Oh, the Savannah Brewers League. I've been with the Savannah Brewers League for many years. I mean, off and on. And to be honest with you, like I've kind of taken somewhat of a hiatus because I had my daughter recently, so I haven't been incredibly active within the past few months. But I plan on going next week. Next week's going to be our last meeting of the year. We have Domras Cup coming up on February. It's going to be the first weekend of February. So any of you mead makers, and this is an international competition now, so anybody that wants to enter, look up the Domras Cup. It's hosted here in Savannah. We are open for entries. It's going to be, what are the exact dates? It's like the first weekend of February. Well, yeah, it'll be the first and the second. So it'll be the second of February. So far, looking at how many entries we have, as of right now, we have 72 entries.
Nice.
So that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Not,
I mean,
you just opened the doors like 4 or 5 days ago, right?
We opened the doors. Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, to the public, we opened it about a week ago. So it's filling up relatively quickly. We only have 200 spots. But I honestly, I've been impressed with just seeing how well this competition has just grown. I mean, this competition now, I believe we're in our, I feel like it's in the 21st year. We've been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah. That's really awesome.
It's one of we like to say it's the oldest and longest consecutive running mead competition in the world on the same weekend. There's that little caveat.
I like that. On the same weekend.
But yeah, I mean, when anybody that wants to judge, we are still accepting judges. That's one thing that we always need. When you have this many entries, you can only judge so many before things just kind of get wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So we definitely are calling all judges. Feel free to apply.
Yeah, I got to go to the website and fill out my app and book those and block out those days.
Yes, we would love to have you. And the spelling of Domras is Domras. So you can just Google Domras Cup, and you should be able to find information on it.
Well, if you if you go to the show page for this episode, I've linked it on that page as well.
Yes. So yeah, gotmead.com, and it's right here on the blog. Awesome. Vicky is fantastic. We already know that.
Just trying to help promote the meaty things that are going on, you know.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that's really cool though. I love that you're so involved with that. How did you end up? Did you get in with Savannah Bee on the ground floor, or was that something that you were like, oh look, a honey place?
Well, so when I honestly was first introduced with Savannah Bee, I know, I honestly knew nothing about honey really. I just basically came in as just your usual customer. Figured, oh hey, there's sweet stuff here. I like that. That's cool. Let me get that. Let me buy that. All right, no big deal. And then after coming in so many times, one of the managers started more or less asking, so hey, what do you do for a job? Like, blah, blah, blah. And over time, the course of probably a couple of months, she eventually tried to get me to apply. And at this time, I was doing counseling services, and so I was just like, no. But needless to say, I eventually applied. Came on about part-time, worked with them, loved it. Got a little more disenfranchised with what I was doing counseling-wise, mainly due to insurance and other blah, blah, blah. But regardless, Savannah Bee just showed me this whole facet of that I had known nothing about. I mean, I feel like most people are ignorant as far as what bees do for us. And this company is all about teaching people what they provide. There's just it's not just honey that bees give us. It's not just pollination of crops. I mean, they collect propolis from tree sap and tree resin, and that's incredibly antimicrobial and antibacterial. And so we put that in body care. They, of course, produce beeswax, which you can make candles out of. Not only that, but also put that in body care as well. Bee venom, which we do not currently use in the company, but bee venom is actually currently very highly regarded by people that have very serious arthritis, because it contains a specific peptide in the bee venom that is anti-inflammatory. So there's groups of people out there that will just specifically sting their joints with honeybees in order to alleviate their arthritis symptoms, which I find fascinating. I mean, there's these people that are just going around with such extreme joint pain, and they find relief in stinging themselves with bees. So there's so much that we don't know about them, and we're still learning, and I just find it wholly fascinating. And if I can make booze all the while, hey, that's fantastic. I enjoy it as I pour myself a little bit more of the sourwood mead here.
How does one? I know you said you don't do it, but how does one collect the apitoxin? Isn't it? It's called the bee venom.
Well, so the collection of bee venom. I mean, this is another reason why we are not like doing this or anything like that. I mean, it's in order to do that sustainably, in order to collect a venom specifically from a bee, you do end up killing bees because it's part of their stinger. And so it's just another. Basically, you would essentially have the bee sting like a vial. At least this is my understanding. I'm more than likely wrong on this whole thing, but in my mind, I feel like they would sting like a vial, and kind of like how you would extract a venom from like a snake, and just do it.
Yeah, that's what I was imagining when you said it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't work with venom as of right now. There's obviously a lot of issues with people being allergic and things like that. But it's another whole facet to the whole bee, paradigm that we're just trying to figure out. They are just such incredible creatures.
Yeah, they really are.
I love it.
So you kind of got sucked in gradually over there. Tell us something about, what's the deal with Savannah Bee? I mean, obviously they sell honey and mead and beeswax products and whatnot, but What's the whole behind the scenes thing there?
So what is the Savannah Bee Company? Well, this wonderful company here honestly took me under its wing and literally taught me everything about bees, honey, yeah, all the things that we get from them. Savannah Bee paid for me to become an actual certified beekeeper, which I find to be just absolutely incredible. How many companies, retail stores out there will pay you to be a certified beekeeper? I mean, not too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they encourage their employees to learn and to grow more and to just seek out this knowledge of these things that a lot of, most general, and the general population just has no idea about. And I love sharing that with people. What we do is educate people. I mean, people come in our store, they have no idea what the heck we sell. They know we sell honey, but they have no idea that there's a honey for every flower on earth. So we blow so many minds. It's honestly kind of fun just to at the honey bar and see all the different people that come in and just taste this honey and just are like, whoa, this is totally different than this one that I just tasted. Like, why is that? And well, it's simply a different flower. I mean, that's the only difference is it just comes from a different flower. They produce different nectar. And all these people just learn so much from us. So I love touching people's lives in that way. We get a lot of people from not only the United States, but from other countries. A lot of other countries just like what you were saying before. Every country has its own flowers. They all taste different. So people from other countries come in here and they try our specialty honeys from America. And they're like, wow, these are unlike anything I've ever tried before. Like, I really want to take this home with me and, show it to my friends and family and let them try it and, give them a little taste of America, a little taste of the States.
That's true.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I am honestly more or less humbled to have just stumbled and fallen into this rabbit hole of honey and honeybee deliciousness. So and Savannah Bee, wholly supportive of this entire thing. And they have just for the past 4 years have been nothing but supportive. Ted, our owner, he is one of the most amazing guys to actually go out into a bee field with. Like this, I mean, just imagine yourself just out there in an apiary, in a bee yard, there's bees flying around just like everywhere. And you're in a full suit. You've got the veil on, everything, whatever. And then you see this guy coming up he's like just wearing like shorts and no shirt. And he'll just like open up the hive, reach inside and just pull out a bunch of bees and just like put them all in your hand. It's just like, all right. He's honestly what I personally like to call it like an actual bee whisperer. I mean, he's just a fascinating soul. Like he really is. Has learned a lot from his dad. I mean, probably one of my favorite things that I get from Savannah Bee is that we get like these little messages from his father in the form of what he calls daily words. And it's just like usually like a little blurb from some inspirational writer or just some sort of spiritual guru somewhere in the world, and just a note of positivity. And I try to share it with my staff, and I feel like it really helps us motivate ourselves into being a little bit more positive, because that's what we're lacking in the world, I feel like, right now. And that's what the whole honeybee colony is all about, is supporting each other. And we want to support each other as much as possible. So if we can make each other have a little bit more of a positive day, then it's all the better. So I really enjoy it. It's such a great place to.
Well, and it sounds like they're really like in tune with it. They're really into the whole thing. I mean, yes, it's their business, but at the same time, it's also their love.
Absolutely. I mean, it all comes down, of course, to money and the end all be all. But while we're making money, people, we're changing lives. We're making people more open to actually not swatting at bees anymore, which is pretty. During the spring season, we have our doors open. It's beautiful out. I mean, it's Savannah, Georgia. Like during the spring, it's amazing. And so with our doors open, we'll have all these little honeybees, just like the local bees, just from the wild, fly in the store, and they'll start taking little sips of our honey from our honey pumps. And so it's pretty funny because the spring more or less becomes us just slowly moving the bees out of the store. So it is a really interesting little period of time because they start coming in droves. And we have so many customers that are like, oh my gosh, a bee. I'm like, no, that bee is not going to hurt you. All it wants is that sweet stuff inside that little jar right there. You're good. Don't worry. So it's a fun job. I do enjoy it.
That's really cool. So yeah, you're the manager at is it just Broughton Street, or is it all three of the locations, or however many locations there are in Savannah?
Yeah, so we've got 3 locations. I am the manager of the Broughton Street location.
Okay.
We also have him in charge of the River Street, and Kristen is in charge of the showroom, which is our corporate headquarters that's over on Wilmington Island.
Okay.
And then we have Kate Carter, who is in charge of all of the Savannah stores, well, pretty much all of retail in general. She is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm very thankful for all of my upper management. I mean, I'm not just saying, like, they are really great people. Like I always tell people, like, if you're not enjoying your job, like, why are you staying there? And I've been with Savannah Bee for over 4 years now. I mean, it's hard to leave a company that you really see this great future for, and you want to help build that future for the company. So it's a little different. Like, I've never really felt this way for any other company that I've worked for. So I really do enjoy working for them. I really enjoy everything that they provide for us and all the support. So it's wonderful. It really is.
That's pretty cool. And they got what, 9 locations now?
Oh my goodness, way more. Gosh, I feel like we're getting to the point where it's hard for me to even keep track.
I was stunned when I went to the website to get the information so that I could, when I first emailed you, and it was like, holy crap. I remember, like, when they opened the first one in Savannah, and they were like, oh, that's really cool. It's cute. There's like a Mead store. This is the way we all saw it. Oops, we just lost Hamish. But there's a Mead store in Savannah. That's awesome. About time somebody opened a Mead store. Not even realizing, because everybody on our side of the fence was going, it's a Mead store, so that was like this big thing. But and I knew it was there, but I had no idea. I was like, holy crap, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and it's not just the Mead store. Like, and I love the fact that, part of me loves the fact that people are calling it a Mead store, but, like, when you come in thinking that it's just a Mead store, prepare for your mind to be blown.
Oh yeah.
Because we're not. Like,
well, I knew it wasn't when I came down, but it was just really neat that how fast it's all come together.
Yeah. I feel like we're one of the first. Again, dare I say anything, like we're the first of anything. It's hard to say that, but I feel like we're one of the first major retailers to put an actual mead tasting room in our store. And so I feel like we're helping the mead community educate the population on not only why they should be drinking mead, but mead is delicious.
Well, yeah.
I deal with so many people daily that have had mead in the past, and they're like, oh, it was all right, or oh, it was too sweet, or oh, it was this. And I'm like, not all mead is created equal. Feel free to just try this. We offer a flight of 6 different meads, like a 1 to 2 ounce pour of 6 different meads for $10. And each one of them is so incredibly unique from the next So all these people that originally never liked mead, they come in, try the tasting, and they're like, wow, mead's actually pretty good. And we have a lot of mead converts that come in.
Nice.
So it's amazing people come to this realization that this is a whole aspect of alcohol that they never even knew about. Even people that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they'll come in here and they'll try mead and they're like, what in the hell is this stuff? Like, what the heck? Like, I've been on this earth for 80 years and I never knew this even existed. And
because it didn't
boom,
80
it's
years
here.
ago,
Like,
I mean, it's only been about 30 years since there's really been any kind of mead presence, beyond Chaucer's, which was just the one,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, most of these people have mead exposure through European meaderies, which is fantastic. European meads are great, but they're very different than what are being produced here in the States. And so we're more or less like the front lines for just people that have never had mead before. They're coming in, they're like, hey, I've heard of this mead stuff, want to try it. Here's my $10. Let's see what's going on. And then they leave with like 6 bottles. So
that's what I left with.
It's like,
yeah, 7. Well, yeah, 7 bottles. So
yeah, more or less. And so, it's just awesome seeing this whole aspect of alcohol being just taken up by people. And not only that, but them actually learning about bees and learning about honey and learning about pollination and where honeybees play this huge role in just life in general. So it is a fascinating job, and I'm very thankful to even have this job. But it's a wonderful thing, and it's constantly growing. We have opened, I believe, gosh, how many stores did we open this year? Our most recent store, I believe, aside from Boulder, Colorado, that was one of our larger stores that we just opened up.
I'm gonna have to go check that out when I'm out there for MeadCon.
Yes, you're definitely gonna have to. I mean, we just opened up in Pigeon Forge.
Oh,
cool. We've got a bunch of locations, and we can find them all from our website, which you'll be able to find from gotmead.com. And I think Vicky's put a link to our website on Mead.
I have.
So you should check it out. Yeah, it's amazing. It really is, just to see how the growth of just the whole mead community. I mean, only in the last 2 years we've had mead is, I think, more or less outpacing cideries and microbreweries in terms of opening. It's a pretty impressive thing.
It really is. And I mean, I love that. I mean, because you guys you're taking it retail. I mean, a lot of meaderies are doing their thing, but you guys are, you're in lots of different places. You're in lots of high traffic retail locations, downtown Savannah, Disney Springs. That was so cool when I found that you had a store at Disney Springs. That you're in so many high traffic locations where, quote unquote, normal people who may not be familiar with mead are going to find you.
Yeah. And they, yeah. I mean, people find us and they come in and they're just blown away. I mean, one of the biggest things that I feel like that we provide as a company is an experience for people. Just if you've never worked with bees, or not even worked with bees, or if you've never even had honey before. We get so many people that have just never had honey before, but just because they've just thought it was gross, or they've had honey, but it was just like the bare honey you get from the grocery store that crystallizes instantaneously when you put it in the cupboard. And they try our honeys, and they're like, what did you put in this one to make it taste like that? And we're like, we didn't do anything. That's Mother Nature. Mother Nature made it taste like that. There's nothing that we could taste any better. She does great work. Why would we mess that up? So it's all about tasting them back to back. So I feel like we find the best honeys in the world, put them next to each other, and let people just try them and literally understand the differences between them. through their own palate, which is the best way to experience anything. And same thing with mead. Like, when people come and do our mead tasting, there's dry meads, there's sweet meads, carbonated meads, non-carbonated, all these different types and styles. And so there's more or less something for everyone. It's not just for honey. It's not just for anything else. The mead is it's such a diverse category of alcohol that I feel like a beer drinker can find a mead that they like. A wine drinker can find a mead that they like. A person that just drinks nothing but liquor. Hey, if you add liquor to mead, anytime you add alcohol to alcohol, nothing can go wrong for the alcohol. But if you drink it, that is your fault. That's a fact.
Well, there's a meadery in Asheville that makes fortified traditional. That's really good.
Good. It sounds dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
I think
it's at like 19%.
The first fortified, or not fortified, first like quote unquote distilled mead that I had, I think it was a freeze distillation. It was a mead that I was judging in the Domras Cup, and this was probably like 3 years ago, and I had no idea this was even a thing. And I take a sip of it, and mind you, again, this is a freeze distilled mead, and I took like a pretty large sip, and I was just
oh no.
It was like 45% alcohol or something like that, and
oh my god.
Yeah, so you can't judge too many of those unless you're like just spitting.
Yeah, well, you have to
need a warning label.
Yeah, you have to know to spit. I got put on a table with fortifieds at 8 a.m. at the Mazer Cup, and it was like my or not. It wasn't the Mazer. It was the International Mead Festival before the Mazer had happened, and so it was like, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago, and I knew they were fortified, but nobody had said anything about spitting, and they were so good, and I was feeling really good by lunchtime. So it's like I just basically during lunch I just sat there and tanked water and ate my sandwich, and tried to get my head back on straight, because it was, I had no idea. I was fairly new to judging, and I guess it just didn't occur to me, because you think, oh, it's only like 5 or 6 meads and it's just a little bit, but it all adds up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does, and it adds up pretty quickly too.
It does. It seems to add up more quickly than it does if you just sit there and drink a glass of something.
Oh, very true. Oh, yeah. I feel like it has to do with just the difference in ingredients. Like it plays differently on your body. But yeah, those things. Ooh, yeah. Just after that one mead, I was just like, what in the hell is happening here? This is potent. Because I had never come across this before, in my judging experience, and so it kind of caught me off guard. But yeah, that honestly opened me up to a lot of ideas on making very dangerous meads, which so far I have not gone down that other rabbit hole of concentrated alcohol meads. Part of me feels like I shouldn't even deal with that. I kind of want to just focus more on like a medicinal type mead. That's more or less what I personally want to make, is like just, again, like the meads that will help you sleep, meads that will help you give you energy, things like that. So I've been working on like just looking at different herbs and spices and trying to formulate stuff. Again, all this is on hiatus.
Yeah, well, yeah. You got a new baby. Everything goes on hold.
Yeah, I'm keen on the energy mead type thing. The sleepy mead, I find any alcohol will normally do that for me pretty well. But the energy mead, to be able to have a big, crazy alcoholic rampage full of energy is the way I like to party. So, that would be the
like
preferable.
Red Bull and vodka, but tastier.
God. Yeah, but not gonna upset your heart,
Yeah.
Call it the axe swinger. I don't know.
I like it.
They get the berserker.
The
Berserker
full
mead.
mead. Oh goodness.
Yeah, now we're gonna have somebody
Wait.
out there going, I can do that, and they're gonna.
No,
start
I
doing
think it's actually.
no.
I think it'll be part of your lineup. You could have the Snow White mead, like Snow White and the Huntsman. One puts you to sleep, the other one gets you fired up.
Oh God.
Nice. I like it. Oh, so how you doing in that sourwood mead, Vicky?
Oh, I'm about a glass into it. It's a flip top, so I can get away with, taking it easy on it. I don't want to drink it.
Indeed.
I got to work tomorrow, so I don't want to drink the whole bottle. I really don't think that would be a good idea all by myself, So, and I don't want it all gone in one night. I prefer to savor it, so it'll get recapped, and I love that it's got a flip top, so it'll get recapped, and I'll stick it back in the fridge and probably finish it off tomorrow and the next day.
For sure.
Yeah, but I really like it. It's you don't see a lot of sourwood meads out there. It's I don't know, I wouldn't call it a rare honey, but it's certainly not common,
Yes, very true. Yeah, it's one of the more signature honeys to the southeast of the U.S.
Oh yeah. That and Tupelo.
I mean, just to talk more about the sourwood specifically. I mean, sourwood, it got its name from Native Americans who would chew on the bark of the tree, and they knew that when they would taste the wood, the wood was very sour, so of course they named the honey sour, or the tree sourwood. But of course the nectar has such a unique caramel maple quality to it, and so we reached out to Redstone, and so David Myers from Redstone. Now that I've name dropped him, I've got to name drop everyone else that we work with.
Well, yeah, I think
but
you should.
He with our sourwood honey, and he's actually working on a wildflower traditional for us as well. But this one, it is more dry. I know you would describe it as like borderline, like semi-sweet, like medium sweet, like on the cusp. But as far as like all of the other meads that we carry, this is definitely the more like dry traditional that we have. And I think it has such a wonderful sourwood characteristic to it. It was very cleanly fermented. David did an amazing job with it.
He really did. Yeah, it's very clean.
Oh yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the wildflower that he's got for us. The other private label that we've got was using our Tupelo. So our Tupelo honey, Tupelo specifically is what built Savannah Bee Company, pretty much from the ground up. So our owner, Ted, when he was like 13 years old, his parents lived on a piece of land. This is on, I believe, St. Simon's Island. They lived near a grove of tupelo trees, specifically the white gum tupelo, commonly known as Missa Ogeechee is the scientific name. This particular tree is what produces the tupelo nectar that we know as tupelo honey. And there's this older beekeeper by the name of Roy Hightower came to his parents' property and basically said, hey, you've got these amazing trees that produce this amazing nectar. I want to put my bees on your property and collect it, and I'll give you some of the honey. Like what can I do to work this deal out so that I can keep my bees on your land? And his parents were like, well, if you can keep our Ted out of trouble and teach him everything there is to know about beekeeping, by all means. And so they did. And here Ted is being an amazing beekeeper. He has built an incredible company that is just absolutely supportive of all of its employees. And I feel like it's more or less he's built his own little bee colony. Like if there were a queen bee, or not, oh my gosh, if there were a king bee, he would be the king bee for sure. Unfortunately, in real life, there's only queen bees. But he has built such a great company that just cares about everyone that works for it, and it's just incredible. It really is. Just to see how everything has kind of come to fruition, and how just him going from at 13 years old, this little beekeeper just collecting honey from tupelo trees, to this multi-million-dollar company that is teaching and touching so many lives every single day about why honeybees are so necessary for us. It's an amazing thing. He really has created something incredible and long-lasting, and I am honestly honored to be a part of it. And so I drink to that.
Yeah, I do too.
For sure.
I can hear. I mean, you got so much passion for for mead and honey and the bees, and for what Savannah Bee is doing here. I'm curious. I mean, they've got however many locations they've got now, and obviously there's a fair number of people working for them. So how do they bring these people into the fold, teach them what they need to know to really be able to speak to the honey and to the mead and and what the bees are all about so that they can convey that passion to the customers when they come in?
Well, he hires like-minded, passionate people like myself. I mean, when it comes to true passion, I feel like true love and true passion is pretty it's pretty infectious. So if you are around somebody that is incredibly passionate about something, it's gonna rub off on you. I mean, unless you're just have like that mentality that just like, oh, I don't want to be a part of like the flow or whatever. But I feel like it's a pretty infectious thing to be around. And so we get people that will apply because they're like, oh, I've heard of Savannah Bee. Oh, I like your product. Oh, I like this. And then they come and work for us and they really see what we're really about. And that's really I feel like I've said really way too many times, but I feel like that is the driving force with this, having people come and just bring in this knowledge into their lives just because we just dump it out on everyone else. So many people come through our stores and they know nothing about this stuff. And so I feel like we all get this, I don't know, this special feeling from just talking about bees and honey. It's just so many random people. Just, we're just teaching people every single day. Every single day, people walk through the store and they learn something from us. And that is, it's something different. Like most retail stores just don't provide. And I love it. I think it's an amazing business model, and it's a very successful one. And it does nothing but improve everyone's lives around it. It really does. So I think it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the company is wonderful.
So one of the things that that you and I had talked about kind of getting into when I first approached you about being on the show was talking a little bit about monofloral versus polyfloral honey.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes. So, yeah, one of the big things that we teach people when they come in the store is the difference between monofloral and polyfloral honey. So most people, when they have had honey in the past, they've had like the bear honey, the grocery store honey, and that's typically going to be a polyfloral honey. It's made up of multiple different flowers. And so that changes a lot depending on season, location, and the whimsy of the bees. But what we really try to focus on are monoflorals. So again, we try to find the best honey in the world, put them next to each other, let people try them, and literally taste the differences between them. And when it comes to monoflorals, what you're selling honey and or buying honey on is the taste. So that's what it comes to when you're making mead, especially quality control wise. I feel like it's smart to go with monofloral honey over polyfloral honey, which is of course wildflower honey, because you have the same taste characteristics from season to season. And it's easier for that quality control from year to year. So that's really the big thing that we really push is teaching people, hey, every flower has its own unique taste. Some are way more floral, some are way more fruity, more spicy, more earthy. They're all different. They're all very different. And we put them all in front of people and we're like, hey, pick your favorite. And so yeah, we just try to get as much knowledge into people as possible. And one of the big things is people just don't really understand that honey is just nectar from flowers. So depending on what flowers that nectar was coming from, it tastes different. That's really the bottom line. So it's good.
That is. And
Yeah.
what kind of reaction do you? I mean, what do people say? Once you kind of explain that to them, because most people don't. I mean, unless they're into honey itself or into mead making, they really never thought about it. So, I mean, what do they? What kind of reactions do you get?
Oh, we get all sorts of reactions. I mean, we get reactions from people that they're just like, wow. I mean, one of my favorite reactions is people coming in and they're just like, I do not like honey. I just do not like honey. And I'm like, okay, if you do not like honey, try this honey. And the honey that I always pick them to is our original whipped. And the original whipped is that Rocky Mountain wildflower, and it tastes like it has like some sort of spice added to it. But that's just the taste of the nectar specifically. And so they taste that and they're like, hey, honey's pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It really is. It's all different. And so, yeah, I mean, we get so many different reactions. I mean, granted, I will say there's probably like a 1 to 5% of the pop is reaching time of people that are like, that try the honey and are like, no, I still don't like it. And that's fine. You like what you like. I mean, I'm totally accepting of that. But at least they tried it. At least they were able to like actually taste it and be like, okay, yeah, I still don't like it. I respect that. That's totally fine. But for people to come in and be like, whoa, this is different than this. Oh my gosh, this is totally different from this. And I'm like, yes, it's all very different.
For people who don't like honey to come in at all is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's a huge, I say huge, but I mean, there's a pretty decent segment of the American populace that does not like honey, and I feel like that a lot of that is due to the just, I mean, excuse my language, but the absolute shit honey that we have in grocery
sugar
stores.
water. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that's been ultra pasteurized, ultra filtered. It's literally just a glorified simple syrup. And so they taste this and they're like, this is, but then they come in our store and they're like, whoa, this is not any honey I've had in the past. Like, what is this stuff? And it's like, well, this is real honey. This isn't honey that's been adulterated to, like, cover our butts by ultra pasteurizing it or anything like that. Like, we're trying to keep it as raw as possible so that people can taste it for what it's worth, because it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, well, and I mean, people don't realize it's like the difference between $2 Chuck and and a good bottle of wine. Yeah.
Spew, Mandy.
So true.
Actually, it's $3 Chuck on this side of the Mississippi, but yeah.
Inflation and all that.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it's weird because people just don't realize that Subi honey bear that they're getting, at the grocery store, and more I see grocery stores. I mean, I can go to my local Harris Teeter and they've got sourwood in quart jars for ridiculously high prices, but they've got it,
Oh yeah, and specifically sourwood. Sourwood is one of the most cut honeys out of all the honeys coming from the U.S. So, I mean, sourwood, it's such a highly prized and highly sought after honey. I mean, aside from tupelo, but I feel like there's a lot of people that sell sourwood honey that have it cut just to, be able to sell more. And so when you're buying sourwood from a store, it's, I don't know, they all taste different. And so I feel like, you definitely want to get it from someone reputable. I mean, I'm not saying like you got to buy it from Savannah Bee, but just make sure you ask the beekeeper, hey, where are your hives located at? Where is this coming from? Question that stuff, because there's a lot of interesting things going on in the beekeeping world, and we want to keep it to where it's all pretty transparent. I mean, all of our honeys that we sell in Savannah Bee stores have been tested at 3 different labs in the world. So there's like 1 in Germany and there's 2 in Texas, and they all test for the pollen count, the flower origin, country of origin. They test for herbicide, pesticide, heavy metals, mercury, all that stuff. And so we're able to know the actual purity of the nectar itself. Like what's the percentage of actual sourwood nectar that is in this honey and the percentage of other stuff. And so that's why we're able to like put out just such a great product, because it's a true sourwood honey. It's not just like willingly cut with other honeys. Like you are actually getting the taste of sourwood nectar specifically, not just sourwood with like 30 or 40% wildflower added or whatever added to it. You know, it's true sourwood. So it really is amazing. Which is why you get when you taste the sourwood mead, you really get those notes of the actual nectar itself, and it's unbelievable. It really is. And I feel like getting genuine things in this day and age is something that's getting harder and harder to come by. So I it all comes down to like, you get what you pay for, and so when you pay a higher price for sourwood, I mean, just hopefully it's from someone reputable, but usually if you're paying a higher price, you're actually getting real sourwood. So, that's the thing with rare honeys, and especially dealing with monoflorals, is you're going to be buying honey that is way more expensive than just your regular wildflower. But in the grand scheme of things, you're getting something that is true to what it's supposed to be, and it's not cut with other stuff. And it's a real product. It's not just this fake thing that's supposed to taste like sourwood. It is sourwood. So this one thing that I absolutely love about the bee again. So much love. I see Joe on the chat talking about delicious basswood. Yeah, that's some robust stuff right there. Oh, we don't get too much basswood down here. But delicious nonetheless.
Yeah, it's more of a northern honey. Michigan has basswood in the northern part of the state. I'm surprised I didn't see any when I was at Sleeping Bear last.
Yeah. Come on, Kurt. What you doing?
Right?
Where's that basswood?
Yeah, well, it's because all his hives are down there getting the sourwood.
That's so true. That of the tupelo. Oh man.
Yeah, especially since the tupelo crop has been so flaky the last several years.
It has been, but not this year. This year has been great, and that actually gives me a good little segue into talking about how amazing Kurt is. So David Myers is great at Redstone. He makes an amazing sourwood mead for us, currently making wildflower for us. But our first private label was with Kurt from St. Ambrose, and they're in Beulah, Michigan. They make incredible mead. It's the sourwood blossom they make is really an amazing representation of what we all think a mead would be. It's like you're literally licking the blossom of the tupelo tree and getting drunk from it. I mean,
Ooh, nice.
Pretty, yeah, it's pretty substantial. I mean, it's definitely sweet because we're trying to, of course, showcase the honey in it. And so the more you sip on it, the more of the honey flavor that you get. But definitely more of like a digestive after a meal. I personally like pairing it with like spicy food, like curry dishes, Thai food, Indian cuisine, Ethiopian, anything like that. But yeah, the tupelo blossom is fantastic. It's a really great single varietal traditional that St. Ambrose makes for us. I'm reading the chat.
Yeah, I like their tupelo. I picked up a gallon of it the last time I was there, and it's sitting in my stash awaiting my attentions. So.
And it'll be able to sit there for like years and not crystallize.
I know. It's crazy.
Glorious tupelo.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
that
good. And
leads. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, no, I was just going to talk about how like St. Ambrose has made really good sour meads too. All their whole draft line has been very impressive.
Yeah.
The only meadery that just, and this again, this is like just my personal experience. The only meadery that I feel like has rivaled them as far as like punching out. I don't know. There's actually two. I mean, of course, there's Bee Nectar. Bee Nectar, we all know Bee Nectar. I mean,
Can't miss
they're
them.
probably one of the top
They're
in
the
the entire
biggest. They're
nation.
the biggest meadery in the nation if you don't count Chaucer's, and we don't count them because that's a California winery, so they're kind of outside the industry, you know.
Yep. They're not a real meadery. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, them and Kraft at Kent Wall, Kent Walder.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
yeah. Ken Waldeck's
Yeah, Kraft.
stuff is great.
Yeah, Kent Walder, he's done such a great job at building Kraft as mead. I feel like one of my favorite meads that they make is the Despair, and it's paired in cardamom, two very unique flavors, so they do great together.
They really did.
But
I was ready to not be impressed, and I was pretty impressed. It really worked out.
yes, it's a pretty solid mead,
It is.
and we actually had make that for us a couple times because it was sold so well. They did like their initial run like I don't feel like it's like 2 or 3 years ago, and we sold out of it so quickly. It's like, you've got to make more of this. Like, don't let this be one of those meads that just falls by the wayside. You don't hear from it again. Crafted makes a lot of mead, and they punch out like a bunch of all these different variations, a lot of different like just little session meads, a lot of different like hydromels, and some of them come back, some of them don't. That was one that I pushed very hard to bring back, and it's been going like 3 years now, so it's a pretty successful mead for sure.
Yeah, I really liked it, and he's got some fun. I don't know. I mean, I don't know a style. Goofy meads, different meads, weirdomels, whatever you want to call them. Like the bananas Foster, and just some of this. He's got some really interesting flavors. I got 3 or 4 bottles from him a while back, and I fell in love with the bananas Foster. That was really good.
Yeah. Have you tried it over ice cream?
Not yet. I had just the 1 bottle, so it was like me and a girlfriend sharing it. We were just like, so we had to just drink it all up.
Yeah. First, well, your next bottle, you should try like warm it up, pour it over ice cream, or even French toast with it. I mean, you don't want to use the whole bottle, obviously. Drink, the majority of it, but
yeah.
Add a little bit of some French toast, something like that when you're cooking. Same thing with the Despair. I've actually cooked pork tenderloin with the Despair. Cooking pork in Despair has never been so delicious. So
yeah.
I mean, just the flavors of the pear and the cardamom go really, really well with that particular type of meat.
Oh yeah.
In my personal opinion.
Oh no, I agree totally. I think that would work out really well. I mean, think about it. You cook pork in apple juice. I mean, I often do my pork chops in my instant pot with apples and onions and a little cider, and it's just amazing. But I'll tell you though, you're saying pour it over ice cream. Make a booze shake. I used to do that. Yeah. I used to do that with when I was doing living history. There was this dorm that we stayed at out in Manio, out on the coast. We were at a living history site, and they had a dorm for the students that would come out every summer and do like their internship stuff for their history degrees and whatnot. And so they had this dorm, and they would let us stay in the dorm, and there was the standard assortment of kitchen utensils in the little group kitchen, and one of them was a blender. So I took the meads that I had brought with me, and they had gotten a gallon of ice cream because we had a birthday party that weekend, and there was like scads of ice cream left. People just didn't eat that much of it, so I made booze shakes with the mead.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it was so good. Oh my God. So and unfortunately it was so good that a couple of people had way too much fun and were really miserable the next morning. That's a lot of sugar to put back.
There's always, some people that, yeah,
Well, these were people
indulge
that,
a little.
yeah, well, these people also are people who just don't drink much and it doesn't take much when they do. So, it was like a shake and a half and they were dancing on the tables, it was pretty funny. But,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it was just that. So that's, ever since then, that's when I've got a really flavorful mead that just screams out for ice cream booze shake.
Booze shake? That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Or a
what's better than
syllabub.
a booze shake?
What was that, Haim?
Or a syllabub is also
Well,
good if you got a nice big strong one.
yeah, syllabub would work. But, I mean, we were in a kitchen with just the very basic stuff. Syllabub is more work, and we were whipped after doing a full day of being out in the sun doing the living history stuff. So nobody really wanted to work that hard. Actually, we would make a syllabub that was on part of the dinner presentation that we did for part of our act. So at that point, we were about syllabubbed out. But yes, agreed. A mead and a syllabub would be very cool. So I'm kind of curious, especially since you were talking earlier about the monoflorals and how honeys get sent off to the labs to get tested for, whether or not they've had things cut or whatever. Are they also testing the type of pollen that has been taken, and can they tell the how monofloral is a monofloral really?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's aside from testing for herbicide, pesticide, things that we do not want in the honey. I mean, we also want to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be. And so we're able to see, oh, this is, 70, 75% like tupelo nectar, or this is, 65, whatever. We're actually able to see what particular pollen and get the pollen count of the specific nectars from these different honeys, and so that's how we're able to gauge like what honeys that we have. I mean, there are two particular honeys that we have, like we try to keep like the purest of, and that's going to be the tupelo and the sourwood, because they are our signature honeys. And so the highest purity levels of the tupelo and the sourwood that we have, we actually bottle in our reserve as our tupelo and sourwood reserve, respectively. They're actually $100 bottles of honey. And I mean, if you want to make a mead with these honeys, by all means, please. Like, it'll be the most expensive mead you'll ever, think of making. But I will say it will be the most incredible tasting mead. When it comes to nectar purity, it all depends on the location and placement of the beehive itself and the temperament of the queen. So if you put a hive in a location that's, pretty much predominantly one nectar source, yeah, I mean, the bees will go to that nectar source for the most part, but depending on how strict their queen is, they may deviate to other nectar sources in the area. And so we actually have a tupelo and a sourwood reserve that we sell that are over 90% pure. I mean, we actually in our stores we ask people, hey, if you want to try these, just ask us, and we have you try the regular tupelo and the reserve back to back, and you can actually taste the differences between the actual purity levels, and it's pretty unbelievable. So I mean, not just our honey's different from different flowers, but there's also, the actual level of purity from that specific nectar itself. So like this particular honey may be 90% tupelo nectar, and then this other honey may be 70% tupelo nectar. They taste totally different, but they both taste like tupelo. I mean, both of them taste like actual tupelo. Like you can actually be like, okay, yeah, this is tupelo honey, but one is like the most concentrated, spicy note on the back of your throat tupelo, and then the other one is tupelo. Like it's good. it's great tupelo, but it's incredible to see how we have just like a difference between two different honeys, and it's all because of placement of hive and how strict the queen is. And so, yeah, these. I mean, of course, we can tell just a little bit better than the other, but to have the backing of an actual lab saying, yes, this is what you think it is. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's very comforting to be able to see that, yeah, we're not crazy. We're not just making up stuff on our palate. That there really is a difference between these two different things. So, being able to back things with science is pretty solid. I am a man of science. I love some science, and to be able to send the stuff off and have labs say, yeah, it's what you think it is. It's a great thing. And I wish more companies that sold honey would do something like that. But it's not a cheap thing to do, is to get anything tested chemically.
No.
Personally, I know I've had meads that I wanted to be like, man, what yeast did they use? Oh man, what honey is in there? And just like, well, I'm like, oh, if only I was rich, I could send this off to a lab. But it's just far fetched.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely nice.
That's cool. I just, because you hear about, oh, this is such and such kind of honey. This is such and such kind of honey. And you always wonder, well, how much of it is that really? I mean, it's got the field that it's in has got to be at least a certain space big. What is it, 2 miles on average that a bee will fly? So, that's a pretty big area.
Yeah, I mean, they can go up to about 5-mile radius, which is very extreme. I mean, it's like, imagine if you were starving, you'd go pretty darn far to find food. So it's 5-mile radius is like an ultra extreme radius for bees, but they can do it for sure. But yeah, I would say like 2-mile radius is definitely average.
Yeah, I mean I see. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I see a question on here about tupelo trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just gonna throw that in there.
Yeah. I mean, I personally have not gone down there to view the tupelo trees, but I will say 2018 was the best tupelo harvest that we have had in numerous years. So it's been pretty good. Granted, I mean, Michael, I don't know if it's going to affect next year's tupelo harvest. Hopefully not. But I mean, this year was really, really good. So if anything, I would get tupelo honey now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't affect the harvest next year. But I mean, the harvest this year was so good that we actually lowered our price. It was very good. It was a great harvest, and it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't think Michael hurt it too terribly much, but we'll find out come I'd say like April, March next year. We'll really see.
Yeah. Yeah, I check in with Kirk every year, and I think that's the number one question from David Webb, who's one of our regulars. He's always like, how much tupelo is there? Like every single show. He's in Texas, so,
Tupelo is an amazing crop. It really is.
I tell him I'll trade him, equal weights of tupelo for mesquite, because I love mesquite, too.
Yeah. Did you get to try the Wahio honey that we got?
I think I tried all the honeys y'all had there.
Yeah, we just released the Desert Blossom, which is a Wahio honey.
Yeah, I did try that because I remember we talked a little bit about the Desert Blossom because I had a Desert Blossom traditional when I was out in Oregon last year. And
yeah, I want to make it. It's a pretty unique tasting honey.
It is very much so. I was amazed at the mead that it made because it was, I've had a lot of wildflower traditionals, And, every wildflower honey is a little different, but there's also kind of a thread of more or less sameness that runs through them all. But this was so different. There was all this sage and, and all these really interesting flavors that I just am not familiar with in a honey because those things don't grow here. So it was just really neat to have something, that was so very different that was a wildflower. So I really enjoy that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it would be a pretty interesting one to work with.
Yeah.
I always like whenever I describe like flavors of some things, I always like if this had a baby with this, then this is what it would be. That's kind of how I describe the Wahio honey. Is like I'm like, well, if black locust honey and black sage honey had a baby, then it's kind of it's like a mildly but slightly more complex sweet. I don't know.
There's
a lot pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of flavors on the back end that you're not expecting. That's one of the things I really like about it.
Hard to place it.
It is, yeah. But I mean, if you sit there, I mean, you'd have to about make yourself sick, trying to pick out all the flavors because you'd have to sit there and eat it and eat it and eat it.
Yeah.
There's only so many honey sticks I can eat before I start to get a little woozy from all the sugar.
Or you just have the need to just start running around and walking up walls and things.
For me, it would be more drinking tons of water and I can't do a lot of sugar. My body doesn't like it. So it's one of the reasons why I've gravitated away from sweet meads, even though I've always loved them, because my body has decided that not so much.
So what are you doing with that tupelo mead?
That tupelo is going to get drunk. I didn't say don't do sweet. I'm just saying I have to meter it. I have to just kind of watch it. I can't do what I used to. But
yeah.
Yeah, that tupelo is really good. I really enjoyed that. So
yeah, if you like sweet,
yeah,
for sure. I'm sorry.
Well, and it's it's so distinctive. Once you've had it, you'll always recognize it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on what honeys you like better for mead than others? I think everybody's got a position on that, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
So when I make my meads, the only meads that I've ever won awards on have been using palmetto honey. So I feel like palmetto has just such a deep, rich tone to it that it really comes out through, after fermentation. You still taste the honey in it, which is absolutely imperative on when you're actually judging a mead. You have to taste the honey in it. Otherwise, it's not a freaking mead. Like if you can't taste honey, like it's not a mead. I mean, you've got to be able to taste the honey in it. And so, like palmetto and other more robust tasting honeys, I feel like they really do come back on the back end through fermentation. You get a nice, rich honey tone to it. So I personally love some palmetto. As far as, I mean, that's probably one of the main honeys that I've fermented with, aside from just like a wildflower, is palmetto honey. I mean, maybe it's because it's super cheap here, more cheap than other places. But no, I really do think it's the back end taste of palmetto that I personally think makes a damn good mead. And I mean, I won a gold in Texas, the Texas Mead Cup. I won like it was like third place or something in Mead Free or Die, using a palmetto as well. So I mean, I've won some awards. I mean, I'm not like the greatest award winner or whatever, but I mean, it's a notable honey to use if you want a rich, deep honey tone after fermentation. And so that's why I like it. And plus, this is, especially when you're dealing with meads that are not traditionals. I wouldn't make like a palmetto traditional personally. I would use palmetto for like a metheglin or a melomel, because when you're putting it up against a fruit or a spice, it's going to hold that honey flavor and it's going to keep it true. And when you're dealing with other floral varieties, they're a little, a lot of them are a little more delicate. And granted, there's of course, basswood. Basswood is super strong, but you get way more tannic notes, like way more like bitter notes from basswood than you would palmetto. So it kind of just, it ultimately is personal preference, but I feel like it does come down to a little bit of just like palate balancing, and just palmetto for me personally is just a very easy to balance, well-rounded, delicious, easy to control. It's, you can have it from year to year because it is a monofloral. I mean, it's just pretty solid honey. So that's probably one of the main ones that I like to use. But one of the ones that I wanted to make for my daughter was that tupelo one that I was mentioning earlier. Mm-hmm. The main reason I wanted to pair that with raspberries is the taste of eating an actual raspberry with tupelo. Drizzle it into the little, like a raspberry. If you hold a raspberry, it's like a cup. When you pull the raspberry, leaves behind a little divot in the top of it. You fill that with tupelo honey. That's literally, it was made to fill with tupelo honey. Like, that's the whole reason that hole exists in a raspberry, is for tupelo honey to be put inside of it. I'm totally serious. If you haven't done this before, you have to.
I'm going to have to do this now.
You've got to. So go get yourself a nice fresh raspberry and like drizzle some tupelo honey in there and eat it. And it's unbelievably good. And that's what I wanted to make for her, because just, I don't know, personally, the flavor combinations just work so well together. The butteriness with the tartness of the raspberry, the butteriness of the tupelo with the the butteriness or the tartness of the raspberry goes so well together. And one of my favorite desserts that, honestly, I have to give the credit to my wife that she came up with is actually taking one of the you can buy them in like Kroger or Publix or whatever. There's these they're like Belgian waffles. They're like cookies that are like kind of like a Belgian waffle pattern. And you basically take that cookie, you spread mascarpone cheese on it, and then you put raspberries on top of that with the cups facing up, and then you fill each one with tupelo honey, eat it, and it is amazing. It is one of the little, just, I like to call it healthy, but I'm pretty sure that the cookie and the mascarpone cheese is probably not like the greatest things to eat a lot of, but the flavor combination is on point. So I always encourage people to try that. But yeah, tupelo is such an incredible flavor. It really is. Just wish I could afford it more. Yeah. Oh goodness.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is tupelo does tend to be a little dear, but it's worth it when you get your hands on some.
For sure, you got to get a hookup.
Yeah.
Or beekeeping, and ask Kurt very kindly if you can place your hives next to his. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, it happens that the AMMA has set up a deal with them, and this is actually just happened today. And starting in December for a month, AMMA members will be able to get 10% off of honeys from St. Ambrose. So that's tupelo. That's I think he's got tupelo. He's got orange blossom. He's got a wildflower, and he's got one other one. Tulip poplar, I think it is.
Fantastic.
Which is another really good one. But
do you know if he so I think Kurt is he's working on putting honey in foil packages, or not foil packages, or some sort of way more sustainable way to serve honey or provide honey, which I think is great.
Oh yeah, I hadn't heard that, but I'm not surprised. Kirk is
Yeah,
really
I
into
think it's
environmental stuff and that, so I think that's a really great idea. Not to mention it'll travel
absolutely.
easier. I mean, you can mail it better
Mhm.
than you can sending a jug.
Yes, yeah, transportation wise, using like a pouch over, just glass vessels or whatever. It's super ideal.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm gonna look at what those prices look like with our discount and see if I can swing me some honey and then just buy it and have them set it aside to pick up for me to pick up when I go up in June to visit my family. I grew up down the road from where they are, like 30 miles away. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I like it.
That's cool. I'd love to visit up there sometime. It'll probably have to be in like the dead heat of summer, just so that I can survive.
Oh,
But
yeah. Well, I mean, the dead heat of summer in Michigan is actually like these days like 90 degrees, but the humidity's lower. It's only like 45% humidity, and they all think it's really humid. And I'm like, really?
yeah, 45% humidity, please. I would love that.
I know, that's like winter humidity around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's like ideal.
Yeah, it is. But the 90s, not so much because the cottage that my family has on the lake, there's no air. And while there's a little breeze, when it's 90, usually there's not much. So it tends to get pretty hot, so you start wishing for air at that point. And then I've gotten awfully used to it being down here, so.
Yeah. It's either get used to it or be miserable.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Pretty much. Oh, yes.
So, but that's really cool. I'm just so thrilled that Savannah Bee is doing so well and spreading so far because I really think that they provide they fill a really unique niche, to be able to bring. I mean, there's lots of honey shops out there, and some of them are really nice. I've been to some, and they're amazing places. And you guys got you got a great honey selection, and you got some really nice products. And I really have to go to your website and get some of the cosmetic products because I want some of that skin cream. But it looked really good, but I was running out of money. I had all this mead and everything. So my husband's like, "We're leaving now."
But.
Yeah, but
I hear that more often than not, for sure. Husbands are like, "All right, time to go. We're getting out of here.
enough
Come
damage,
on."
honey. Yeah. So, but I love that that you're bridging that space between honey and mead, and lots of people go into honey shops that have never heard of mead, and so you're providing that that extra step, and there's not a lot of that going on out there right now. There's the meaderies, there's the honey shops, but there's really not a lot of crossover places that bring in the common people, the regular people who just don't even know what mead is, and maybe never will if they don't get the opportunity to be exposed to it. And you guys are in all high traffic areas. I mean, Disney, Savannah, Boulder, Maggie was it Maggie Valley? Is that
Or Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge,
Yeah, I mean,
which is also hugely trafficked. And you have what, 2 locations on Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, we got 2 locations. We just opened another location on Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
So I mean, we're very successful with all of this whole business model here, and I hate calling it a business model. I mean, it's not a business model. It's a way to teach people about mead and bees.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some people call it a business model. I call it like the best way to teach people about delicious and wonderful, nutritious things.
Yummy things.
Yeah, all the yummy, nummy stuff that you could ever imagine. I mean, people come in, they don't know jack squat about bees and mead, and then they leave with like so many monofloral honeys and mead that, a lot of different variations of mead, and they've been filled with this passion that they want to share with their friends and family. And I love seeing that. We do that. it's very crazy to think that, how many people's lives that we touch as from like an educational standpoint, and that's what we focus on. It's just education.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a nonprofit, which is the Because Project, just because, and our goal is to put 1,000 observational hives in 1,000 schools, and so. We've gotten so popular with this that we actually have an actual lottery that you have to kind of apply for to be, as far as like a school goes. But anybody can enter their school into this lottery and be chosen to win an observational hive for their school. And it's such an amazing thing to see all these kids just like learn about bees and how they directly impact us as human beings for survival and getting all this wonderful products from it. So the Because Project is a huge thing that we've been working on for a couple of years now, and it's actually been incredibly successful. We've got over 400 hives now. My computer just died. I need to get a new battery. But anyway, it's been quite a successful journey with Because Project. So I encourage people to also check that out too. We feel that children, of course, have the biggest impact on our future. So if they actually learn about bees and know to respect them and understand them, then maybe we will actually have a future to enjoy. So
yeah,
that's really the big thing with. Trying to fix the computer here.
Well, this is really
technology.
I know, right? This is really cool. I mean, okay, so those of you out there that are listening, there may not be a Savannah Bee right in your area, but they've got them in various parts of the country. You want to go to savannahbee.com and check them out. They've got a lot of different products, some great honeys, some really interesting meads. I have tried them all, so I can attest that they are very interesting meads. And and locations all over the place. If you're going to Disney, I highly recommend you hit Disney Springs and go to their location there. That just shocked the crap out of me that y'all guys were there. It was just like, yes, finally, cool. Meet at Disney about bloody time. So that was super cool. But go check them out, guys. SavannahBee.com, and see what they've got. Check them out. I'm planning on buying some more stuff as soon as I get my Christmas shopping done. Maybe as part of my Christmas shopping. I don't know.
It's great working for the company because, of course, a lot of people spend money in our stores, and I always say, imagine working for this company. I feel like my entire paycheck literally goes back to the company because I buy everything here. Even as a beekeeper, I still buy monoflora from the company. I still buy all the body care just because that's literally what is used in my house. And of course, the mead. Even though I have an untold amount, my wife would. I think she went up to sleep now, but she, if she had her say, she would be like, "Yeah, he has too much." Excuse my language, but effing mead in this house. So. And I still buy mead from Savannah Bee, so it's definitely great. It is a little crazy. It's too easy to spend money there because everything is amazing, especially the body care. Like it's unprecedented how much body care that we actually sell, and it's for good reason. Like we've won numerous awards in Europe for natural body care. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it's amazing body care, especially the body butters and the hand cream. They're phenomenal with the propolis and royal jelly that we get from bees. There's so much that we get from bees, not just honey.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
People don't really realize that.
Indeed.
So this has been really cool. I'm so glad that you were able to come on the show.
No, I'm honestly honored to be a part of the show. Like I've been a member of the Got Mead forum for a number of years. Granted, I'm not like the most active person in the world, but I still, float around, check it out. I think this is such an awesome website, and I love the fact that we are congregating mead makers and the whole mead community into one place. That's just such a great way to help us build the mead community and to learn from one another and just spread knowledge and just better understanding of this deliciousness that we call mead.
Yeah. We really do have. There's so much going on right now, so I'm hoping that the momentum keeps going.
For sure, and I feel like it's only going to continue to go on. I mean, we have this huge push for natural foods and healthy living, and well, what more of a healthy sweetener that you can use than honey, and what more of a quote unquote healthy alcohol, which I feel like is like an oxymoron, than mead. It's definitely the most ideal alcohol to drink if you were to drink alcohol.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, cool.
Even better out of an ox.
I'm sorry?
I said even better out of an ox horn. As I am drinking right now.
There you go. Well, cool. This has been really interesting. I learned a few things that I didn't get the chance to ask you about when I was there last week too. So that's always cool.
Good. Well, awesome. I mean, I definitely appreciate you guys having me on. Like this has been a great experience. It's a wonderful website. You guys are connecting so many amazing, knowledgeable people with one another. So it's great all around. I love it.
Thanks. I'm glad you think so. We've got a lot of work into it, so it's nice to know that it's doing a little good here and there.
Doing great. I love it.
Cool. Well, cool. Then we'll let you get back to what remains of your evening, since like me, you're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. It's kind of mellowing time for me, so it's all good.
Yeah, this is our last show of the year, so we're gonna wind up with upcoming events, and then we take December off from the show. So.
Fantastic. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. Go out there and enjoy life, because there's a lot to it. Mead is a huge aspect of it. That there's more to just mead making, such as beekeeping. I'm going to say everybody should be a bee. Get into bees. They're great. I encourage you to. But yeah, I mean,
it's on my to-do list.
Yeah. All righty then. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Ken, and we'll let you go. And I'll be talking to you, once I get things going together to come down for Domras.
Yes, definitely. Please come for Domras. We would love to have you. We need more judges. That's the more judges, the better. We definitely appreciate it. Again, thank you all. Yeah, thank you all of everyone, the whole Got Mead crew. You guys, everyone, amazing. This whole production's been fantastic, and I'm very honored to be a part of this, and I truly appreciate you bringing me on here. And we'd love to see you all at Savannah Bee.
All right, take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Good to have you on.
All right. Okay, so you guys out there might not realize it, but this is our last show of the year. We take December off. We're not actually coming back in the first Tuesday in January because my dogs heard me say BYE to Ken, so now they're all jumping around. John's in Boston, so it's just me and the mutt.
So did mine, actually. He's come and walked in and given me a kiss at the same time.
Like, aren't you finished yet? Yeah. But so we won't be back until we'll be back January 10th because the first Tuesday is actually January 1st. And since that is a holiday for pretty much everybody, and there'll be a lot of people recovering from, like really wild nights on December 31st.
Too much mead.
Too much mead, yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and push it back to the 10th. And, we'll be back then, and we'll probably be talking to some of the people that are going to be speaking at the MeadCon in March, and bringing in some of those and prying some of their learnings out of them, and getting some of that going on. So don't know yet what it's going to look like. I'm going to be spending December lining people up for January and February and the first part of March. So we'll let you know as soon as we have our lineup. Yeah.
Just a quick one. January 10th. Are you sure that's a Thursday?
Tuesday.
You meant 1 + 7 is 8. January 8th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say the 10th? Yeah. It's not the first.
Just for the record, everyone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's late.
Which is, of course,
you're right. January 8th.
January
8th. Yes. Sorry. I don't know where I got the 10th. So yeah, we'll be back on January 8th, second Tuesday in January in any case. So, and we'll of course be announcing and letting you guys know. But and we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on in December with meaderies. December 1st, Shram's Mead is having their holiday gala. December 1st, Honey Girl Meadery has mead and nut butter pairings, which is really interesting. December 1st, Meridian Hive has a mead and cheese pairing. On December 8th, Starlight Meadery has their Very Fairy Christmas. I will be at that. December 8th, Threadbare Mead and Cider has Santa visiting the meadery. On December 13th, the Colony Meadery has a mead and cheese pairing at Big Spoon Roasters. December 14th, Brothers Drake Meadery has the Jake Compston Big Band playing. December 16th, Solu Winery and Meadery has the Kyle Feerick Trio. December 15th, Black Snake Meadery has Mead and Feed at Black Dog Salvage. It is a fundraiser for Feeding America Southwest Virginia. I really want to go to that, but that's like literally 3 days before my daughter has her baby. So it's like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. December 22nd, Laughing Dragon Meadery has their Yule Feast. And on January 19th, there's a meadery bus tour for which you have to buy tickets in Royal Oak, Michigan. So that's what we've got. If you've got some other things you'd like me to add to the calendar on Got Me, just email me at gotmead.com and let me know, and I'll throw it up there for you. You guys got anything you want to add that you have coming up in your areas?
No, all's good here.
Okay. Cool.
I got nothing over here.
Awesome. All right, then, everybody out there, we'll wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Joyeux Noel, Happy Yule, whatever all the other holidays are, Kwanzaa. There's 29? There's like 29 holidays in December and January. So happy holidays, everybody. I hope you have a lovely month of December, and that, lots of great things happen, and you see loving family, and, it's just generally good and positive and wonderful. So we will see you in a month. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Good night, all.
All right. See you guys later.